Hey there, I'm Max, and I'm the game director behind Sombrero Tactics. First of all, I want to thank you for your great support and your participation in our ongoing Square Enix Collective campaign. At the link, I'm going to blend in somewhere here. Thanks for all the feedback and the comments. It's really valuable for us to learn what you want in that game. With this video, I want to start a little developer's blog to give you some more insights into the whole development process of the game, the team behind it, and so on. And to start with, I decided to listen to your comments because it seems that you really love the music of Sombrero Tactics. So I'm going to make a short interview with Johan, the composer of just that music. Enjoy and have fun. Bye.
So, hi Johan.
Hi, Max.
Hi. We are here today for a small interview with you because our fans and the people out there really enjoyed the music you did for Sombrero Tactics. And so I'm going to I'm going to ask you some questions and to learn a bit more of how the music was created and about you. So probably let's start with that. Tell us something about you.
Well, as Max just said, my name is Johan, and I'm originally from Sweden, but I have worked and lived in Germany for the last 15 years. And I have this slight unusual combination of professions, you might say. That I'm an opera singer on the one hand and a composer and sound designer for games on the other hand. Yeah, and so I'm basically made two of my former hobbies into professions. Yeah, that's it.
That really blew me away when I met you first, and you told me, yeah, I'm doing music for games, but somehow I'm an opera singer. That was really cool. But from your point of view, how did you come to the project, and what were your main reasons to join the team?
Well, we met at the Respawn game fair in Cologne last summer.
Right.
And I thought the meeting was very serendipitous. We just happened to end up at the same table. And you showed me the game, and I showed you my stuff. And what I liked about the game, basically what it was calling out for really quality scoring, I thought, because obviously you have this very professionally made voiceover. And
really, Bob did that.
Bob did a fantastic job with that. And obviously, so there is this very strong sense of a narration throughout the game and the whole story. So I thought, obviously, in order to match that, you have to have quality music, and it has to be elaborate. Can't just be anything. And obviously, the style calls for, well, guitars. And since I'm a decent guitar player, at least, thought, hey,
you are. Really?
I could actually score this game, and I know my way around the orchestra, and so I thought, hey, this could be a great challenge for me and something to dig into.
Cool.
And so I really liked it. I thought it called my name, so to say. So I really wanted to be part of that. It was fun.
Yeah. And coming to the music itself, the game uses within the levels of the game. We use adaptive music, it's called. Mm-hmm. So for the people out there, what does that mean? And what are the main advantages going for adaptive music?
Well, adaptive, as the word suggests, is that it adapts to the gameplay itself. So it adapts to the actions and the decisions of the gamer, him or herself. So basically what you have is that you have an eternal loop. In our case, I think that loop is about 80 seconds, like an hour, I don't know, a minute 20, something like that.
Yeah.
But that loop has 20 different layers, starting from very, very sparse little wind and a few sound effects to the whole shebang with the entire orchestra and everything. So basically what you can do then is you can decide when to switch between the layers in accordance with the actions and the decisions of the gamer, him or herself. And obviously, the advantage is, we hope at least, that it's not going to get boring, as quickly as if you have had just a static sound file playing from 1 to Z or A to Z, every time. And it, however well made that sound file may be, eventually, I'm pretty sure you're going to get tired of it. It could be Hans Zimmer soundtrack; it doesn't really matter, So I think it's a huge advantage having an adaptive soundtrack, really.
Yeah, and feedback so far, it tells us that it pretty much works, I think. People like it. It's really an earworm for most of them. Even people who don't like the Western setting came to me and said, okay, I don't like the setting of the game because I'm not so in Western, but the music, it's really a catchy tune. And
great,
so
okay.
it seems to work, and I'm pretty excited about our decision to go for it. Also, working with the tool we work with, I think we can name it, because it's really a nice tool. The guys from Elias Software, right? Where you can dynamically hear this adaptive soundtrack and skip switch levels and listen to how the music changes, and that's really nice, I think.
Right? Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a great tool that they have started there. Yeah.
And apart from the whole how adaptive music works and the advantages, as I said, most people say it's a real catchy tune. How was your way to get there? How did you come to that musical style?
Well, obviously, with any decision you make in any field of creative work, you have to find a style, I think. And that style will mean omitting some things that you don't want and focusing on some things that you do want. And obviously, well, there are two major aspects, of course. There is the instrumentation, which instruments to use to really fit this specific game, and also harmonically, melodically, what are the things that are reminiscent of Mexican music or Mexican setting. And that was very important to me because it's obvious that the game distances itself a little bit from normal American Western. But then again, when researching for styles and music, and I mean, there's no way around Ennio Morricone.
Yeah, right.
We all know this, but
yeah.
when you start, breaking down his music, you come to, let's say, like you have a tune like I hope you can hear my piano.
I can hear it. Yeah.
Ah, great. So you have like, for instance, the Ecstasy of Gold, right? It will have da 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 da.
Yeah.
And if the more you listen to his music and you pick 5 or 6, 7 of his soundtracks, you will realize what you have is more or less, there is a house in New Orleans, it's called the Rising Sun. And those are the chords. That's the progression that he uses a lot.
Yeah, right.
And what is very significant about this is if you're in a major key like this, in this case D minor, you have a subdominant in major, which in this case is G.
Okay.
And that is quite indicative of, I think, at least the American Western.
Okay.
So that typical chord progression, I actually wanted to distance myself from, and because obviously I wanted to be south of the border, because the style, the name of the game, obviously
the
Sombrero
story.
Tactics, and the story, and Bob's accent.
Exactly.
So it was very important to find a style that was not reminiscent of the American Western, but actually of the Mexican Western, whatever that is. So I had to find other chord progressions, but one, we have it in all Spanish music, and in this, So that one I used also for the main theme, for the leitmotif, you can say, of the game, which is that little tune. And then, of course, you have also over the course of time, you have the Arabs coming to Spain, and then the Spaniards coming westward to Mexico and South America. You will have this little Arabic kind of sounding tune,
Right.
revolving around it's basically a harmonic minor scale, revolving around the dominant. That I used as well, and a few other tricks. So yeah, it was interesting. So that's the harmonic part of it, and then speaking of the instrumentation a little bit, I knew I didn't want steel string acoustic guitars. Obviously, they are called Western guitars for that reason.
Yeah.
I wanted old Spanish guitar, like normal nylon string Spanish guitars. I mean, I used electric guitars on some tracks to get a little more dirt and grit, and but I wanted to get away from that. Obviously, no slide, because that is very Western as well. No whistles, although I mean, I'm sure they whistle in Mexico as well, but that also is very, sort of say, Ennio Morricone.
Exactly.
Very.
He uses it very much.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
And harmonica.
Okay.
So I thought, if I use that, the gamer will immediately think of American Western. So let's get away from that. So the orchestration is slightly more traditional, you can say, with Spanish classical guitars and the normal instruments of the orchestra. So that's pretty much sums up what I did and what I
did. Yeah, for me it was quite exciting. Yeah, I can't say being taken by the hand by you, because I play guitar, and I'm not music affine, so I can get my grips on music, but of course I'm not a composer. And to see how you approach the whole process of getting inspired from some directions, and then that distancing from some aspects, and getting the whole style together was quite an exciting trip for myself too, because I've never done it before, and that was really, thank you for that.
Oh, sure.
And the result is amazing, I think. So
thank you.
To all of you out there, really listen to that music and give us feedback, because it's just amazing what Johan did. And now I have one last question, and that brings us a step away from the music topic. You're doing the sound design and sound effects as well. What are your thoughts there?
When it comes to sound design with music, it's obviously that, there's going to be a music track playing all through the game in a way, right? So you have to ask yourself, do you want sound effects that are musical? Like, basically, are they going to be like chords or somehow tonal? And if yes, then how do they fit at a certain point in the soundtrack?
Yes.
That is one aspect that you have to clear. If you use, sort of say, Foley artistry, more or less, you have artificial sound effects or whatever, or bang or something like this. That's not as important, obviously. They can happen anywhere. They're not going to interfere with the music in any way.
So things like opening a door or
exactly
shooting a shot fired, and that's
they are easier, so to say, to implement or actually to match with the overall sound design.
Really, yeah, they have to be aligned.
Right, exactly. So it's also there. It's about finding the right, omitting some things and finding other things that you want to focus on and stress and underline. So That's about it. It's the creative process. I think is very dependent on setting up the right kind of limitations actually from the start. Like where in which field do I want to work? Because when the page is just blank and white and just glaring at you, it can be very paralyzing. So I think it's better to say, okay, we want this and this and this, and then maybe not that, and then usually things just follow suit.
Yeah, and I'm totally looking forward to continuing on that path because regarding sound design, we are quite in the middle of the process, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And evaluating exactly that the stuff and the topics and the questions you just outlined, and so that will be exciting too, how it fits to the music and all, and when all comes together. It was one of the bigger lessons learned for me in this whole game development process. What kind of impact really sound and music can have.
Right.
I knew it, right? You know, a film without music. There is this hilarious example of the Star Wars ending scene in
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
great hall with the military and with honors. And if you leave out the music in that scene, it really gets ugly.
It's true. Yeah.
And so, yeah, before we did that whole music thing together, I had an idea of how important music might be, but really it blew me away how important it really is. So
It's
and that's
yeah.
that's to all indie developers out there. Really don't underestimate that importance. It's amazing what music and sound can do.
It is, and yet I have to say, as a composer and sound designer, there are fields in media and in life where I think silence is better. But when you can watch a documentary and there will be music underscoring an interview, and you go like, is that really necessary? And it can be abused as well, quite often. But when it comes to narration, music is very powerful. When you want to elicit certain emotions, and you really want the gamer or the viewer of a film or whatever to feel a certain thing in a certain way, yeah, music is, you can't get around it. You just need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that were the questions I had to you. So I think we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks for you people watching out there. We will be
Thanks.
back with another video in some days or weeks. I'll keep you updated about that. And that was Johan. I'm very excited that we have him on the team. And thanks for your time, Johan.
Oh, sure. I'm looking forward to continuing this process and
totally.
finishing up the game, and it'll be an exciting journey, I'm sure.
Exactly. So, for you, a nice day, and we
too.
talk.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, Max. Ciao.